Summer is a great time for gardening, but it can also be a challenging time for plants due to the high temperatures and dry weather conditions. However, with proper care and attention, you can ensure that your plants thrive during the summer months. In this article, we will share some tips and techniques for caring for your plants during the summer season. Watering. Watering is the most important aspect of plant care during the summer months. Plants need more water during hot weather to prevent them from drying out. The frequency and amount of watering will depend on the type of plant, the soil type, and the weather conditions. It's important to water your plants deeply to encourage deep root growth, rather than shallow watering, which can lead to root rot. Watering early in the morning or late in the evening when the temperatures are cooler will also help to prevent evaporation. Mulching. Mulching is another important technique for caring for plants during the summer season. Mulch helps to retain moisture in the soil, suppresses weed growth, and regulates soil temperature. Organic mulch such as leaves, grass clippings, and bark is recommended as it also improves soil fertility as it breaks down. Fertilizing. Fertilizing is important during the summer months to ensure that plants have the nutrients they need to grow and produce flowers and fruits. Use a balanced fertilizer that contains equal amounts of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Avoid over-fertilizing as it can lead to burn the roots and cause damage to the plant. Pruning. Pruning is an important aspect of plant care during the summer season as it helps to promote healthy growth and remove dead or diseased plant material. Regular pruning of herbs and vegetables can also encourage more vigorous growth and increase yields. It's important to use clean and sharp pruning tools to avoid damaging the plant. Pest control. Pest control is important during the summer months as insects and other pests can cause damage to plants. Using natural pest control methods such as companion planting, beneficial insects, and insecticidal soaps can help to keep pests under control without harming the environment. Shade. Providing shade is important during the summer months to protect plants from the harsh sun and high temperatures. You can use shade cloth or plant trees to provide natural shade for your plants. It's important to avoid placing plants in areas where they will receive direct sunlight during the hottest part of the day. Harvesting. Harvesting is an important aspect of plant care during the summer season as it helps to promote continuous growth and prevent the plant from becoming overgrown. Regular harvesting of fruits and vegetables also helps to ensure that they are at their peak flavor and nutrition. Provide adequate airflow. Plants need adequate airflow to stay healthy during the summer months. Proper airflow helps to reduce the risk of fungal diseases, and it also helps to regulate the temperature and humidity around the plants. Make sure to space your plants appropriately so that air can circulate around them. You can also use a small fan to improve airflow around your plants. Use drought-tolerant plants. If you live in an area with hot and dry summers, consider using drought-tolerant plants in your garden. These plants are adapted to thrive in dry conditions and require less water than other plants. Some examples of drought-tolerant plants include succulents, lavender, and yarrow. Use shade cloth or row covers. In addition to providing natural shade, you can also use shade cloth or row covers to protect your plants from the sun. Shade cloth can be attached to a frame and placed over your plants, providing up to 50% shade. Row covers can also be used to protect your plants from the sun and insects, while still allowing air and water to pass through. Be careful when watering. While watering is essential during the summer months, it's important to be careful not to overwater your plants. Overwatering can lead to root rot and other problems. Before watering, check the soil moisture level by sticking your finger into the soil. If the soil feels dry to the touch, it's time to water. If the soil feels moist, hold off on watering for a day or two. Monitor for signs of stress. During the summer months, plants can become stressed due to the heat and dry weather conditions. It's important to monitor your plants regularly for signs of stress, such as wilting, yellowing leaves, or stunted growth. If you notice any of these signs, adjust your care routine accordingly. Consider using drip irrigation. Drip irrigation is an efficient way to water your plants during the summer months. It delivers water directly to the roots of the plant, reducing water loss due to evaporation. It's also a great way to conserve water, as it uses less water than traditional watering methods. Drip irrigation systems can be purchased at your local garden center or online. Keep your tools clean. During the summer months, it's important to keep your gardening tools clean to prevent the spread of diseases. Clean your tools with a mixture of water and bleach or rubbing alcohol before and after each use. This will help to prevent the spread of diseases between plants. Use natural remedies to control pests. In addition to natural pest control methods, there are also natural remedies that can be used to control pests. For example, spraying plants with a solution of water and dish soap can help to control aphids and other soft-bodied insects. Neem oil is also an effective natural insecticide that can be used to control a variety of pests. Provide support for tall plants. Tall plants, such as tomatoes and peppers, may require support during the summer months to prevent them from falling over. Use stakes or cages to support the plants and keep them upright. This will also help to
Introduction. Erica palm, Dipsis ludescens, is a popular indoor plant, known for its beautiful foliage and ability to purify the air. It is native to Madagascar and can grow up to 6 to 7 feet tall indoors. The Erica palm is also commonly known as the golden cane palm, yellow palm, or butterfly palm. In this essay, we will explore the techniques of planting and caring for Erica palms, from selecting the right soil to fertilizing and pruning. Planting. The first step in planting an Erica palm is to choose a container that is the right size. The pot should be slightly larger than the plant's root ball to allow room for growth. The soil used for the plant should be well draining and rich in nutrients. A mixture of peat moss, perlite, and sand can be used to create the perfect soil for the plant. The plant should be placed in bright, indirect light. Direct sunlight can scorch the leaves, so it is best to place the plant near a window with filtered light. The plant also prefers warm temperatures, between 65 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Watering. Erica palms need to be watered regularly, but not overwatered. Overwatering can lead to root rot and damage the plant. The soil should be moist but not soggy. A good way to tell if the plant needs water is to check the soil. If the soil feels dry to the touch, it's time to water. Fertilizing. Erica palms should be fertilized every 2 to 3 months. A balanced fertilizer with a ratio of 3:1:2, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, is ideal. Fertilizer should be applied to moist soil, and the plant should be watered thoroughly after fertilizing. Pruning. Pruning is an essential part of caring for an Erica palm. Dead or yellowing leaves should be removed regularly to promote new growth. Pruning also helps to maintain the plant's shape and prevent it from becoming too tall or leggy. Pests and diseases. Erica palms are generally healthy plants but can be susceptible to spider mites, mealybugs, and scale insects. Regular inspection and treatment with insecticidal soap can help prevent infestations. Propagation. Erica palms can be propagated through seeds or by dividing the root ball. To propagate through seeds, the seeds should be soaked in warm water for 24 hours before planting in well-draining soil. The seeds should be kept moist and warm, with a temperature of around 80 degrees Fahrenheit until they germinate, which can take up to 6 months. To propagate by dividing the root ball, the plant should be carefully removed from the pot, and the roots should be separated into 2 or more plants, each with its own root system. Repotting. Erica palms should be repotted every 2 to 3 years to allow room for growth. When repotting, the plant should be carefully removed from the pot, and any dead or damaged roots should be trimmed. The plant should then be placed in a slightly larger pot with fresh soil, and the soil should be watered well. Humidity. Erica palms prefer high humidity levels, between 50 to 60%. If the air in your home is dry, you can increase the humidity by placing a tray of water near the plant, using a humidifier, or misting the leaves regularly. Lighting. Erica palms thrive in bright, indirect light, but they can also tolerate lower light levels. If the plant is not getting enough light, the leaves may turn yellow or brown. If the leaves are getting too much light, they may develop scorched patches. Common problems. Some common problems with Erica palms include yellowing or browning of the leaves, which can be caused by overwatering, underwatering, or lack of nutrients. Spider mites and scale insects can also infest the plant and cause damage. To prevent these problems, it is important to follow the proper care techniques and inspect the plant regularly for signs of damage. Benefits. Aside from their beauty, Erica palms also have many benefits. They are known for their air-purifying qualities and are especially effective at removing formaldehyde, benzene, and trichloroethylene from the air. This makes them an excellent choice for homes and offices where air quality is a concern. Additionally, Erica palms have been shown to reduce stress and improve overall well-being. Studies have shown that simply having plants in the workplace can improve mood, reduce stress levels, and increase productivity. Erica palms are particularly effective at improving air quality, which can have a significant impact on overall health and well-being. Maintenance. Maintaining an Erica palm requires some effort, but it is not difficult. Regular watering, fertilizing, and pruning are important to keep the plant healthy and looking its best. In addition, it is important to monitor the plant for signs of pests or disease and to take appropriate action if any problems arise. If you are planning to leave your Erica palm for an extended period of time, it is important to make arrangements for its care. This may involve asking a friend or neighbor to water the plant while you are away or hiring a professional plant care service to take care of it for you. Decorating with Erica palms. Erica palms are not only beautiful and beneficial, but they are also versatile in terms of home decor. They can be used in a variety of ways to add a touch of tropical elegance to any room. For example, a tall Erica palm can be placed in the corner of a living room to create a dramatic effect, or a smaller plant can be placed on a bookshelf to add a pop of greenery. In addition, Erica palms can be used to create beautiful indoor gardens. By grouping several plants of different sizes and shapes, you can create a stunning display that is both beautiful. Planting and caring for corn plants. Corn is one of the most popular and versatile crops grown worldwide. It is used for food, fuel, and animal feed, and is a staple crop in many countries. Growing corn requires proper planning, care, and maintenance. In this article, we will discuss the various steps involved in planting and caring for corn plants. Step 1: Choosing the right variety. The first step in planting corn is to choose the right variety for your climate and soil type. There are many varieties of corn available, each with its unique characteristics. Some are better suited to colder climates, while others thrive in warmer weather. The type of soil you have will also impact the variety you choose. For example, if you have heavy soil, you will need a variety that is resistant to soil compaction. Step 2: Soil preparation. Once you have chosen the variety of corn you want to grow, it's time to prepare the soil. Corn requires well-draining soil with a pH between 6.0 and 7.0. Start by removing any weeds or rocks from the area where you plan to plant. Then, loosen the soil to a depth of about 8 to 10 inches using a tiller or a garden fork. Add organic matter such as compost or manure to improve soil structure and fertility. Step 3. Planting. Corn should be planted in rows to make it easier to cultivate and harvest. The ideal row spacing is between 30 to 36 inches, and the plants should be spaced about 8 to 12 inches apart within the row. Plant the seeds about 1 to 2 inches deep and cover them with soil. Water the seeds immediately after planting. Step 4. Watering. Corn plants require regular watering to ensure healthy growth. The frequency and amount of water required will depend on the climate and soil conditions in your area. In general, corn plants need about 1 inch of water per week. If you live in an area with hot, dry summers, you may need to water more frequently. Step 5. Fertilizing. Corn plants require adequate nutrition to grow and produce a good crop. Before planting, add a balanced fertilizer such as October 10, 2010 to the soil. Once the plants have emerged, side dress with nitrogen fertilizer when they are about knee-high. Repeat this process when the plants are about waist-high. Step 6. Pest and disease control. Corn plants are susceptible to various pests and diseases, including corn earworm, armyworm, and corn borers. To prevent these problems, monitor your plants regularly and remove any damaged or infected parts. You can also use organic pesticides such as neem oil or pyrethrin to control pests. Step 7. Harvesting. Corn is ready to harvest when the ears are fully developed and the kernels are plump and tender. This usually occurs 60 to 100 days after planting, depending on the variety. To harvest, grasp the ear firmly and twist it downward to detach it from the stalk. Store the harvested corn in a cool, dry place. Step 8. Weed control. Weeds can compete with corn plants for nutrients, water, and sunlight, which can affect their growth and productivity. To control weeds, use a hoe or cultivator to remove them regularly. You can also use mulch to prevent weed growth and retain moisture in the soil. Step 9. Disease prevention. Corn plants can be affected by various diseases, such as rust, smut, and blight. To prevent these diseases, rotate your crops every year, use disease-resistant varieties, and practice good sanitation by removing any infected plants or debris from the garden. Step 10. Pollination. Corn plants require proper pollination to produce good quality ears. Corn is wind-pollinated, which means that the pollen is carried by the wind from the tassels to the silks. To ensure proper pollination, plant corn in blocks rather than single rows, and avoid planting different corn varieties too close together. Step 11. Harvesting and storing. Harvesting corn at the right time is crucial for optimal flavor and nutrition. Corn is ready to harvest when the kernels are plump and tender and the silk has turned brown. Soursop, also known as graviola or guanabana, is a tropical fruit tree native to South America and the Caribbean. It is widely grown in many parts of the world due to its delicious flavor and health benefits. The fruit is rich in vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants and is believed to have anti-inflammatory and anti-cancer properties. Growing soursop trees requires some knowledge and skills, but it can be a rewarding experience for both home gardeners and commercial growers. Here are some tips on how to grow and care for soursop trees. Climate and soil requirements. Soursop trees prefer a warm, humid climate with temperatures between 25 degrees Celsius and 30 degrees Celsius. They can tolerate some drought but require regular watering during dry spells. Soursop trees also need well-draining soil with a pH between 5.5 and 6.5. They do not tolerate waterlogged or alkaline soils. Propagation. Soursop trees can be propagated from seeds or cuttings. Seeds should be planted in well-draining soil, and the seedlings should be transplanted when they are about 6 months old. Cuttings should be taken from mature trees and treated with rooting hormone before planting. Planting. Soursop trees should be planted in a sunny location with good air circulation. They should be spaced at least 5 meters apart to allow for their mature size. Before planting, the soil should be enriched with organic matter and fertilized with a balanced fertilizer. Watering. Soursop trees require regular watering, especially during the dry season. The soil should be kept moist but not waterlogged, as waterlogged soil can lead to root rot. Fertilizing. Soursop trees should be fertilized regularly with a balanced fertilizer containing nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Organic fertilizers such as compost or manure can also be used. Pruning. Soursop trees should be pruned regularly to promote healthy growth and fruit production. Dead, diseased, or damaged branches should be removed, and the tree's canopy should be thin to allow for good air circulation and sunlight penetration. Pests and diseases. Soursop trees can be affected by various pests and diseases, including fruit flies, scale insects, mealybugs, and fungal diseases. Regular monitoring and prompt action can help prevent or control these problems. Harvesting. Soursop fruit usually ripens within 3 to 5 months after flowering. The fruit should be harvested when it starts to turn yellow-green and feels slightly soft to the touch. It is important to handle the fruit carefully, as it bruises easily. Storage. Soursop fruit can be stored at room temperature for a few days or in the refrigerator for up to a week. It can also be frozen for later use in smoothies, desserts, or other recipes. Companion planting. Soursop trees can benefit from companion planting with nitrogen-fixing plants such as legumes or plants that attract beneficial insects such as marigolds or lavender. Mulching. Soursop trees can benefit from mulching with organic matter such as leaves, straw, or bark. Mulch helps retain moisture in the soil, suppress weeds, and improve soil fertility. Propagation by air layering. Soursop trees can also be propagated by air layering, which involves rooting a branch while it is still attached to the parent tree. This method can be useful for propagating selected varieties or for producing new trees with desirable traits. Training and support. Soursop trees can grow up to 8 meters tall and may need support or training to prevent them from falling over or breaking under the weight of fruit. Trellising, staking, or pruning can help support the tree and improve fruit production. Pollination. Soursop trees are self-pollinating but may benefit from cross-pollination by bees or other pollinators. Planting other fruit trees nearby can help attract pollinators and improve fruit set. Uses of soursop. Soursop fruit can be eaten fresh or used in various recipes such as smoothies, juices, ice cream, or jams. The leaves, bark, and roots of the soursop tree have also been used in traditional medicine for various ailments. Pest management. Soursop trees are susceptible to a variety of pests such as fruit flies, scales, mealybugs, and aphids. To prevent pest infestations, it is important to keep the area around the tree clean and free of debris, which can harbor pests. Additionally, you can use organic pest control methods such as neem oil, insecticidal soap, or horticultural oil to manage pest populations. Disease management. Soursop trees are also susceptible to various diseases such as anthracnose, powdery mildew, and root rot. To prevent diseases, it is important to avoid overhead watering, which can promote fungal growth, and to ensure good air circulation around the tree. Additionally, you can use organic fungicides such as copper sulfate or sulfur to manage fungal infections. Harvesting and storage. When harvesting soursop fruit, it is important to use a sharp knife and cut the fruit from the tree without damaging it. Once harvested, the fruit should be stored at room temperature for a few days until it is ripe. Ripe fruit can be stored in the refrigerator for up to a week or frozen for later use. Soil fertility. Soursop trees require fertile soil to grow and produce healthy fruit. To improve soil fertility, you can use organic fertilizers such as compost, manure, or worm castings. Additionally, you can plant cover crops or green manures to add nitrogen to the soil and improve soil structure. Water management. Soursop trees require regular watering, especially during the dry season. To prevent water stress, it is important to water the tree deeply but infrequently, allowing the soil to dry out slightly between waterings. Additionally, you can use mulch to help retain soil moisture and reduce evaporation. Sunlight requirements. Soursop trees require full sunlight to grow and produce healthy fruit. Sapeli trees are a type of hardwood tree that is commonly found in Africa. These trees are known for their dark, reddish-brown color, and they are used to make a variety of products, including furniture, veneers, and musical instruments. Planting a sapeli tree requires careful planning and attention to detail. The first step is to select a suitable location. Sapeli trees prefer well-draining soil and plenty of sunlight. They also need ample space to grow, so be sure to plant them at least 20 feet apart. Once you have chosen a location, it is time to prepare the soil. Sapeli trees prefer slightly acidic soil, so you may need to adjust the pH levels if necessary. You can do this by adding sulfur or other acidic materials to the soil. When planting the tree, be sure to dig a hole that is at least twice as wide as the root ball. This will give the roots plenty of room to spread out and grow. After placing the tree in the hole, fill it with soil and water thoroughly. Caring for a sapeli tree involves regular watering, fertilizing, and pruning. These trees need plenty of water, especially during their first few years of growth. You should also fertilize the tree at least once a year to ensure that it has all the nutrients it needs to thrive. Pruning is also important for sapeli trees. This helps to promote healthy growth and prevent the tree from becoming too dense. You should prune the tree regularly, removing any dead or damaged branches and shaping the tree as needed. When selecting a location to plant your sapeli tree, it's important to consider the climate of your region. These trees prefer a warm, humid climate with plenty of rainfall. They can tolerate some drought, but they will not do well in areas with long periods of dry weather. If you live in an area with cold winters, it's important to protect your sapeli tree from frost damage. You can do this by wrapping the trunk with burlap or other protective material during the winter months. Sapeli trees are susceptible to a variety of pests and diseases, so it's important to keep an eye out for any signs of trouble. Common pests include scales, aphids, and borers, while common diseases include canker, root rot, and leaf spot. To prevent pest and disease problems, it's important to keep your sapeli tree healthy and well maintained. This includes regular fertilization, pruning, and watering. You should also keep the area around the tree free of weeds and debris. When fertilizing your sapeli tree, it's important to use a balanced fertilizer that contains equal amounts of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. You should apply the fertilizer in the spring, just before the tree begins to grow new leaves. Pruning your sapeli tree is also important for maintaining its health and shape. You should prune the tree in the late winter or early spring, before new growth begins. This will allow you to remove any dead or damaged branches and shape the tree as needed. Mulch around the base of the tree. Applying a layer of mulch around the base of the tree can help to retain moisture and regulate soil temperature. This is especially important during the hot summer months. However, be sure not to pile the mulch up against the trunk of the tree, as this can cause moisture to accumulate and lead to rot. Water deeply and regularly. Sapeli trees need plenty of water to thrive, especially during their first few years of growth. Water deeply and regularly, especially during dry spells, but be careful not to overwater as this can lead to root rot. Monitor for signs of stress. Sapeli trees can become stressed due to a variety of factors, including drought, pests, and diseases. Keep an eye out for any signs of stress, such as wilting leaves or yellowing foliage, and take action as needed to address the underlying issue. Consider companion planting. Companion planting involves growing other plants alongside your sapeli tree that can help to promote its growth and health. For example, Planting nitrogen-fixing plants such as clover or beans can help to improve soil fertility and provide the sapele tree with the nutrients it needs. Protect from deer and other wildlife. Sapele trees are often targeted by deer and other wildlife, who may browse on the foliage or chew on the bark. To protect your tree, consider installing fencing or other physical barriers around the perimeter of the planting area. Prune strategically. When pruning your sapele tree, it's important to do so strategically to promote healthy growth and maintain its shape. This may involve removing branches that are growing too close together or in the wrong direction, or thinning out the canopy to allow more sunlight to reach the lower branches. Use organic methods to control pests and diseases. Sapele trees can be susceptible to a variety of pests and diseases. But using harsh chemicals to control them can be harmful to the tree and the surrounding environment. Instead, consider using organic methods such as neem oil, garlic spray, or beneficial insects to control pests, and compost tea or other natural remedies to treat diseases. Consider grafting to improve tree performance. Grafting is a technique that involves joining a branch from a healthy tree onto the trunk of a less healthy tree. This can be an effective way to improve the growth and performance of your sapele tree, especially if it has been weakened by disease or other factors. Monitor for signs of nutrient deficiency. Sapele trees require a balance of nutrients to thrive, and deficiencies can lead to stunted growth and other issues. Keep an eye out for signs of nutrient deficiency, such as yellowing leaves or poor growth, and address the issue by adjusting the pH of the soil or applying a targeted fertilizer. Plan for the long term. Sapele trees can live for decades or even centuries, so it's important to plan for the long term when planting and caring for them. This may involve considering factors such as future growth. Mushrooms are a type of fungi that have been used as a food source for centuries. With the increasing demand for organic and locally grown produce, growing mushrooms has become an increasingly popular hobby for many people. This article will explore the techniques for growing and caring for mushrooms, including selecting the right growing medium, managing environmental factors, and harvesting techniques. Selecting the right growing medium. One of the most important factors in successfully growing mushrooms is selecting the right growing medium. There are many different types of mushrooms, and each type requires a specific type of substrate or growing medium. For example, shiitake mushrooms grow best on hardwood logs, while oyster mushrooms grow best on a mixture of straw and sawdust. Some common growing mediums include straw, sawdust, and compost. These materials are used because they provide a food source for the mushrooms as well as a suitable environment for growth. Additionally, the growing medium must be sterilized to prevent contamination from harmful bacteria or fungi. Managing environmental factors. Mushrooms require specific environmental conditions to grow and thrive. Temperature, humidity, and lighting are all important factors that must be carefully managed. For example, most mushrooms grow best in temperatures between 60 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit, and humidity levels between 70 to 90%. Additionally, mushrooms require a specific light cycle that mimics the natural light cycle found in their natural environment. To manage these factors, growers often use specialized equipment, such as heating and cooling systems, humidifiers, and lighting timers. Additionally, growers must be vigilant in monitoring these factors and making adjustments as necessary. Harvesting techniques. Once the mushrooms have reached maturity, they are ready to be harvested. The harvesting technique used will depend on the type of mushroom being grown. For example, shiitake mushrooms are typically harvested by twisting the mushroom cap until it separates from the stem. Oyster mushrooms, on the other hand, are typically harvested by cutting the mushroom stem close to the growing medium. It is important to harvest mushrooms at the right time to ensure maximum flavor and nutritional content. Additionally, growers must take care to avoid damaging the growing medium or other mushrooms during the harvesting process. In addition to selecting the right growing medium, managing environmental factors, and using proper harvesting techniques. There are other important considerations when it comes to growing and caring for mushrooms. One important consideration is pest control. Pests such as mites, flies, and rodents can pose a serious threat to a mushroom crop. To prevent infestations, growers may use insecticides or natural repellents, such as garlic or neem oil. Additionally, growers should take care to keep their growing area clean and free of debris, which can attract pests. Another important consideration is ventilation. Proper ventilation is important to prevent the buildup of carbon dioxide and other harmful gases that can occur in a sealed growing environment. Growers may use fans or other ventilation systems to maintain proper airflow and prevent the buildup of harmful gases. When it comes to selecting the right type of mushroom to grow, there are many options to choose from. Some popular types of mushrooms include shiitake, oyster, portobello, and button mushrooms. Each type has its own unique flavor profile and nutritional benefits. Growers may choose to focus on one type of mushroom, or experiment with growing different types to see which works best for them. Another important consideration when it comes to growing and caring for mushrooms is maintaining proper sanitation. Contamination can be a serious issue when growing mushrooms, and it is important to take steps to prevent the growth of harmful bacteria and fungi. Growers should clean their growing area regularly, using a solution of hydrogen peroxide and water to disinfect surfaces. Additionally, growers should wear gloves and use clean tools when handling mushrooms and their growing medium. It is also important to consider the sustainability of mushroom cultivation. Many growers choose to use organic and sustainable growing practices, such as using recycled materials for their growing medium and composting waste products. Additionally, some growers choose to sell their mushrooms locally, reducing the carbon footprint associated with transportation and packaging. Growing mushrooms can be a profitable business venture for those with the right knowledge and resources. With the increasing demand for organic and locally grown produce, there is a growing market for high-quality mushrooms. Growers may choose to sell their mushrooms at farmers' markets, to restaurants and other food businesses, or through online marketplaces. One of the key challenges in growing mushrooms is dealing with diseases that can infect the growing medium or the mushrooms themselves. There are several common diseases that can affect mushrooms, including verticillium wilt, bacterial blotch, and green mold. These diseases can be prevented by using disease-resistant strains of mushrooms, keeping the growing area clean and free of debris, and maintaining proper environmental conditions. To help prevent disease, growers may also use biological controls, such as beneficial fungi and bacteria, to help keep harmful pathogens in check. Additionally, growers may use natural or organic pesticides to control pests and diseases. Another important consideration is the use of automation and technology in mushroom cultivation. Advances in technology have made it possible to automate many aspects of mushroom growing, from monitoring environmental conditions to automating the harvesting process. Growers can use sensors and software to monitor temperature, humidity, and carbon dioxide levels, and adjust environmental conditions as needed. Furthermore, some growers are exploring new techniques for mushroom cultivation, such as
Choose the right location. Turnips prefer well-drained soil that is slightly acidic. They need a lot of sunlight, so choose a location that receives at least 6 hours of sunlight per day. Prepare the soil. Turnips grow best in loose, fertile soil. If your soil is heavy, amend it with compost, peat moss, or sand to improve drainage and aeration. Work the soil to a depth of at least 6 inches. Sow the seeds. Turnips are cool season crops that grow best in temperatures between 50 degrees Fahrenheit and 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Sow the seeds directly into the soil 4 to 6 weeks before the last frost date in your area. Plant the seeds 1/4 to 1/2 inch deep and 1 to 2 inches apart. Cover the seeds with soil and water gently. Thin the seedlings. When the seedlings are 2 to 3 inches tall, thin them to 3 to 4 inches apart. This will give each plant enough space to grow and develop a large root. Watering. Turnips need consistent moisture to grow properly. Water the plants deeply once a week, making sure the soil stays moist but not waterlogged. Avoid overhead watering, as this can lead to fungal diseases. Fertilizing. Turnips don't require much fertilizer. You can side dress the plants with compost or a balanced fertilizer once or twice during the growing season. Pests and diseases. Turnips can be attacked by pests such as flea beetles, aphids, and root maggots. Monitor your plants regularly and use insecticidal soap or neem oil to control pests. Turnips can also be susceptible to diseases such as clubroot and powdery mildew. Practice good crop rotation and sanitation to prevent these diseases. Harvesting. Turnips are ready to harvest 55 to 60 days after sowing. You can harvest them when they reach 2 to 3 inches in diameter or wait until they are larger. To harvest, gently pull the turnips from the soil or use a garden fork to loosen the soil around the roots. Sow succession crops. If you want to have a continuous supply of turnips, you can sow succession crops every 2 weeks. This will ensure that you have a steady harvest throughout the growing season. Thin the plants again. After the initial thinning, thin the plants again when they reach 4 to 5 inches tall. This will give each plant even more space to grow and develop. Mulch the soil. Mulching the soil around turnip plants can help retain moisture, regulate soil temperature, and suppress weed growth. You can use organic materials such as straw, leaves, or grass clippings as mulch. Weeding. Turnips are susceptible to weed competition, which can inhibit their growth and development. Regularly remove weeds by hand or use a hoe to cut them at the soil level. Companion planting. Some plants, such as radishes, carrots, and lettuce, can be planted alongside turnips to help deter pests and improve soil health. On the other hand, turnips should not be planted near other brassicas, such as broccoli or cabbage, as they are susceptible to the same diseases. Harvesting the greens. Turnip greens are edible and highly nutritious. You can harvest them when the plants are young and tender, about 20 days after sowing. Simply snip the leaves off with scissors, leaving the growing point intact. This will encourage the plant to produce more leaves. Storing turnips. Turnips can be stored in a cool, dry place for up to several weeks. Remove the greens and wash the roots before storing. Keep the turnips in a perforated plastic bag or in a container with moist sand or sawdust. Protect from pests and weather. Turnips are susceptible to pests such as slugs, cutworms, and flea beetles. You can protect your plants by using row covers, installing copper tape around the garden bed, or applying a natural pest repellent. Additionally, turnips are frost tolerant but can be damaged by a hard freeze. Consider using a frost blanket or straw mulch to protect your plants during extreme cold snaps. Provide adequate drainage. Turnips need well-draining soil to prevent rot and disease. If your soil is heavy or clay-like, consider planting turnips in raised beds or adding organic matter such as compost, shredded leaves, or peat moss to improve drainage. Proper watering. Overwatering or underwatering turnips can result in stunted growth, disease, or cracked roots. Water turnips deeply once a week, making sure the soil is moist to a depth of at least 6 inches. Avoid watering the foliage, which can increase the risk of disease. Harvesting storage turnips. If you plan to store turnips for later use, wait until the roots are mature and reach their maximum size, usually about 2 to 3 inches in diameter. Use a garden fork or spade to lift the roots gently from the soil, taking care not to damage them. Remove the greens and store the roots in a cool, dry place. Using turnip greens. Turnip greens are a nutritious and versatile vegetable that can be used in salads, soups, stir-fries, or as a side dish. Rinse the greens thoroughly and remove any tough stems or veins. Blanch the leaves in boiling water for a few minutes, then drain and chop them. You can sauté the greens with garlic and olive oil, or add them to a frittata or quiche. Provide proper spacing. Turnips need adequate space to grow and develop a large root. Plant the seeds or seedlings at least 3 to 4 inches apart in rows spaced about 12 to 18 inches apart. This will allow each plant to receive enough sunlight, water, and nutrients. Consider intercropping. Intercropping is the practice of growing 2 or more crops in the same area to maximize space, nutrients, and pest control.